Hey guys, we get about 1,000 comments and messages a day from our YouTube videos. Thanks very much. In amongst them, there's all sorts of comments and opinions and ideas about different things to do with Japan. Some of it's actually quite interesting. Some of the things that people offer is actually quite interesting, and it's not unusual for me to learn stuff from those comments. You know, people that have different insights into things, different experiences of things. But in amongst it, there is some myths, there is some stuff that people hear on the internet or hear from a friend or have heard from somewhere else about Japan, you know, from anime or from somewhere, and just way off, you know. So sometimes it's obviously way off. Sometimes I'm not sure, to be honest. Sometimes I hear something a few times and think, is that really true? You know, is that really true? If that's the case, if it does come up a few times and it's an interesting topic, I'll make a video about it. So maybe it'll be a topic for interviews. You know, hey, that's an interesting topic. I'll ask some people and interview some people and get some answers about that in interviews. And you'll see on the interview playlist, a lot of those interview topics have come from questions that I get, you know, many times on the same, you know, is this true, is that true? So I'll make an interview series of it, or sometimes I'll put it on the how-to playlist, or, you know, something else, you know. So sometimes those questions or those myths encourage me to actually make a video about them, you know, and find out the truth. So I'm pretty lucky. I have all sorts of connections here, Japanese people of all ages with all sorts of backgrounds. So I'm pretty lucky I can sort of tap into a pretty good source, lots of different sources of information, which is pretty good. Helps me get to the bottom of it. Usually, you know, but occasionally there's some that are just so off the wall that I'll just ignore them, or just too weird, or just too, you know, just ridiculous, and I just ignore them. And you'll notice that, you know, I don't answer. I read every message. I read every message and every comment on every video, but I don't respond to many of them, and some of the really off the wall stuff. And please remember this, that sometimes someone asks a question on a video, and if I've already covered it in my videos, so if I've already made a video on that topic, I won't answer it, because like I said, almost 1,000 a day, I can't answer them all. So if someone asks a question I've already covered in another video, I won't answer it. But what happens is sometimes other people answer it and give an answer that's just really out there, you know. And if that happens, I won't say anything, because I think everybody's entitled to their opinion. And but just keep in mind that just because someone answers it on one of my videos doesn't mean I agree with the answer. Quite often I don't. It's just like, oh no, I don't think so. But I think everybody's entitled to their opinion, so I just let other people express their opinions. But there has been some out there ones, which leads me to today's topic. Just a couple of them. I mean, there's thousands of them. You know, there's thousands of them. I'm sure you guys have seen some. But just a few. Food. Okay, food topic. Belching after eating is polite and a compliment in Japan. I've heard that one a few times. People think that burping after you eat in Japan, if you burp, it's polite and a compliment. It's not true. If you do that in Japan, it's considered rude, like it is in most countries, I think. I think there is some countries where it's polite. Japan's not one of them. Someone asked recently if belching and farting while eating in Japan is considered polite. No, it's not. Someone said, a few people have asked, eating everything on your plate is rude. Apparently in some countries you should leave some food on the plate, so it shows that that you had more than you needed, or that you had enough or something. In Japan it's not true. That these guys are really into not wasting stuff. So what's on your plate, on your bowl, maybe there's still food left on the table, that's okay, but on your plate and your bowl you should eat everything. Is the most polite thing you can do. Right down to the last grain of rice, if you can, is the most polite way to do it. Buddhist priests actually clean the bowl out with tea at the end and then drink it. So, konnichiwa! Video 作ります。ビデオを作る。ちょっと外国人から 外国人は日本のことは面白いですね。じゃあ、ビデオカメラある。こんにちは。こんにちは。Okay. So, かっこいいね、バイクは。バイクはかっこいいね。車。かっこいいよ。本当に。お母さんはどこ？すごい。Okay, where do I get to? Okay. Yeah, so eating everything on your plate. Yes, you should eat everything on your plate is the polite thing to do, right down to the last grain. Buddhist priests wash their bowls with tea and then to make sure that they've eaten everything on the plate, so everything in the bowl. Japanese waste food is another misnomer that I've heard. Japanese people don't waste food. They're very careful about not wasting food, and I'm sure they waste a lot less than I've seen in other countries. So they eat everything, very careful about not wasting. Konnichiwa. Genki. Okay, this one's a bit more serious. Most Japanese eat dolphin, but don't know it. Yeah, I've had that one in relation to my Cove video, my video about the Cove movie. Yeah, 127 million Japanese people. It's alleged that 20,000 dolphins are killed a year. If you do the math, you'll see that most Japanese people don't eat dolphin. So that's not actually not funny. I don't like that one. That's a fairly ignorant comment to make. Obviously, that's based on what they've seen in a movie. And to say that most Japanese people eat dolphin and don't know it is a fairly ignorant thing to say. So, anyway, it's not true. 127 million people, 20,000 dolphins, obviously not true. Okay. In relation to information, government control the media in Japan is a common one that I get, that Japanese people don't know what's happening because the government control the media. And as a result, they'll say government control the media, so Japanese people don't know about their history. They don't know, what happened in the history in Nanking or, in World War II or all this sort of stuff. It's not true. I'm sure sometime in the past, Japanese government controlled the media, much as they have in other countries as well, propaganda and so on, but not now. Not now. The media has freedom. They're saying, obviously, at the moment with Fukushima, with the nuclear power plant, people are saying on the internet that Japanese people don't really know what's happening at Fukushima. Well, what's overlooked in this theory is that Japan has cable TV. I mean, first of all, Japanese media is pretty open. They interview all sorts of people on all sorts of topics. But they also have, as well as the free-to-air Japanese media, they also have cable TV. So they have access to international media. So, like, BBC, CNN, Russia TV. Russia TV is one of the most credible TV stations I've seen for a long time. So they have access to all that in English and Japanese, and of course the internet. So to say that Japanese people don't know what's happening in Japan or anywhere in the world, or to say that Japanese people don't know, to say that for people to say that they think they know more than Japanese people do about any topic is fairly arrogant and fairly ignorant, if you don't mind me saying it, because Japanese people have access to the same information that you guys do. I mean, I live in Japan, so you guys suggesting that you know more about what's going on than I do because I live in Japan and you don't. Obviously that can't be right? I've got access to the same information that you do. So, yeah, it's not right. Japanese government don't control the media, and that Japanese people do have access to all the same information everybody else does. So, it's not true. Okay, law is another one that lots of questions about. Is there a law against being fat in Japan? Oh no, they state it as fact. They say there's a law against being fat in Japan. No, there isn't. Same as other countries, the health insurance is sometimes more expensive if you're overweight. But there's no law against being fat in Japan. And I did a video about why Japanese people aren't fat on the interview playlist. So, どう？この英語はどう？面白い？ Okay, next one is age of consent in Japan is 13. I get told that a lot. It's true that the national law says 13, but the truth is that it's the state's issue. So each state, each prefecture has its own law, and most of them are 18, if not all actually. Now, once again, if you want to check your information about Japan, you've got to be careful where you get it from, because the internet's not, known to be 100% accurate. So I usually get my information straight from Japanese people. I got this from Japanese Ministry of Justice, confirmed that, yes, 18 is the legal age. It's on their website. But if you want it in English, just look at Interpol. The International Police Organisation has all that information on every country, and you can confirm that no, that the actual ages in Japan, consent age is 18, because it's a prefecture by prefecture thing. So, that one about age of consent is 13, and, it's a bit concerning how obsessed some people are with that topic, but anyway, it's wrong. Oh yeah, someone asked me if it's true that their friend told them there's a law against using other languages in Japan. No, it's not true. You can use any language you want in Japan. Another one asked me, is it true that you're only allowed to swim at the beach certain times of the year? No, it's not true. Of course, duh. Yeah, good. A couple of times, a few times I've been asked, is it true that, oh no, it's been stated on my videos that Japan is communist. So someone will write an opinion on something, and someone else will say, Japan's communist, you can't do that in Japan, Japan's communist. No, Japan's not communist, it's a democracy. Democratic monarchy, isn't it? Something like that, it's democracy. Foreigners are forced to dye their hair black. No. But I think that the underlying most common myth about Japan is that foreigners know more about Japan than Japanese do. I think that's the biggest problem, and I see that in the interview videos. I do the interview videos so that everybody can hear directly, including me, hear directly from the Japanese people what the reality is about Japan. And yet, for some reason, us whiteys are so arrogant that I get all these comments on those interview videos where people disagree with the Japanese people. There was a Japanese girl wearing goth. I said to her, "What's your fashion?" She said, "It's goth lolita." I said, "Okay." And then I interviewed her and put it on my fashion playlist. And all these girls from Europe and America and everywhere else were telling me that's not goth. That's not goth. Well, it's Japanese fashion. So if the Japanese girl tells me her Japanese fashion is Japanese goth, I believe her. And I think that happens a lot on the interview videos too. I ask the Japanese people about a Japanese topic, and the foreigners say that's not right, which is pretty funny. I mean, if I came to Germany and told you German people that your German sausage wasn't real German sausage, you'd tell me to go away, wouldn't you? So I think that's the most common myth, is that foreigners know more about Japan than Japanese people do. So anyway. I'm going to go talk to my new friends now. More videos coming soon.